This is for the players.
I'm Ryan Betson, and this is For The Players, the pop culturist PlayStation podcast. Over 40 years of playing PlayStation, 8+ years in that games media combined with we throw a hat into the ring and join that PlayStation conversation. The conversation happens every Monday morning at 9 a.m. on the YouTubes and 8 a.m. on the podcasting services now, including Spotify. That's right. But if you want to join that conversation, head over to the Facebook group at facebook.com/group/the Pop Culturist and chat with all the lovely community members of the PopC. And if you want to support us in a different way, head over to patreon.com/the Pop Culturist. Throw us a couple dollars if you so wish, and you can find a tier that might interest you. And you even have the luxury of watching us record this show live. It's pretty nice. And finally, oh, actually not finally, because there's like 2 things left. Man, there's so many things you have to pitch at the start of the show. If you want to show the love of Pop Culturist on your body, head to popculturist.com/shirts where you can buy phone cases, shirts, not this one. This one got pulled.
Or this one.
Or that one, because it's a whole different company. And we are on Twitch at twitch.tv/thepopculturist where we do all our streams, most prominently on the Wednesday evenings. Tomorrow, to my right, to your left, Josh is still out. He's still off resting. Apparently playing shit fuck ton of Destiny 2. So I brought in Paul James.
We need to have a conversation.
Yeah, what's up?
So, over the recent weeks, actually, firstly, look at this.
Yeah,
look at that.
This is the thing. The facial hair stems from, without Josh here, I miss him. And I need him. You
needed to bring some facial hair.
I needed to bring the facial hair to the show because he had it covered.
I never knew that I was coming. And you're like, well, that bloke just keeps it trim all
I'm
the
like,
time.
well,
So
yeah,
there's something here.
That Paul's always got that sweet baby face, and I can't balance it. But no, it's like without Josh's facial hair, I'm like, I need it. I miss him, and this is my until he comes back.
Behind the scenes, did the both did you just touch his beard every now and then, like just walk over and just? Is that what you needed?
No,
just so you could touch every now and then.
No, I'm just. This is my almost 30 beard, so.
Fair enough. The second thing, you've had a number of guests on this show recently, Joel and Jono and Jesse and those. We need to put these upstarts in their place. In my title, it should be Paul, the most recurring for the players guest, James. We need to stomp this shit down. Jono keeps claiming he's catching up. No. These other Buddy's also been in there recently. And he dropped in with the video on the show floor and all those sorts, which maybe not for the players. Close enough. We'll count it.
Buddy will drop it in probably maybe next week.
See, there we go. Like these flogs keep coming along, thinking they're top shit, trying to take the mantle.
Take your mantle that you've busted.
Look, I'm a maths teacher, and maybe someday someone will overtake me, whatever. But I will still be officially listed as Paul, the most recurring guest for the players, James.
But in terms of the statistics, I think you do have it.
Yeah, I've got them covered. But at the same time, things may change. But this title is going to remain the same. It's documented today. This is how it's going to be.
As of recording, that is the point.
That's it. Going forward.
Yeah. How you been, man? It's been
a
while.
Well. Since the last time I rocked up on this show.
Yeah. So I crashed your show over
at PAX.
Yeah,
crashed, and I just kept seeming to drop into your show.
I love that,
tour
man.
as
That
well.
was so much fun.
Rocked up at the beginning, and then I bounced into you again, and then I told you I'm going to Xbox, piss off, and then you got there and I wasn't there because I got pulled away elsewhere. But since I was last on this show, baby's arrived.
Yeah, congratulations.
Little Noah, everything's going well. He sleeps like a champ, so I'm actually still getting to play some games, which is good.
Nice.
We'll see how long that lasts, but he's had a couple of rough nights the last 2, but whatever.
Yeah, it only gets worse. Like James was really good when he started, when he was born, and then over time he got a little bit crappier. Like right now, he's the worst.
I'm preying on the fact that Mum said that I used to sleep like a champ, just from day dot all the way through to I don't know when I'm walking and talking. Things are a bit different then, obviously, but I'm hoping that it's a similar story for him because at which point I just keep getting to play games and. Gradually getting to catch up on stuff. We'll talk about some that I haven't played recently, but
so
soon.
We've just made the switch with him from a cot to his own little bed.
Oh yeah, okay.
Because we find that he sleeps better when he's in our bed. Either it could be because of us or the fact that he's got more room to move around. So we're hoping, as of right now, he's asleep on his bed now. So I think he likes the space.
This could be the first episode in a while where he hasn't just crashed.
Well, not initially. He'll probably wake up wondering, keep the door
open.
open.
For the players is on. Time to stick my nose.
Dad's doing something. Kadoosh, doors down. But yeah, man, what have you been playing? How was your PAX? Did you play? You have any things to say about?
I still didn't play as much at PAX as I would have liked to, but it's not a PlayStation game. But Ori and the Will of the Wisps is the best game of that show, and is one of my most anticipated games of next year, unless The Last of Us rocks up out of nowhere. But
yep.
Look, it was still a good PAX. There was plenty of good games I got to play. Really enjoyed what I did. Really went hard on the AAAs in the first few days, and then kind of had interviews for the next few, so I didn't get to the indies as much as I would have liked. So if you're an indie out there and I didn't get to play your game, reach out to me, because I don't know, pretend to know what I'm talking about.
So you'll play them.
Yeah, hit me up. I'll find a way to play them. Like, let's do it. But then outside of that, playing a lot of Assassin's Creed Odyssey at the moment. You wanted to talk about, you promoted it as such that we're going to talk about Red Dead, and I actually haven't touched it yet. Because
I'm going to talk about Red Dead.
I'm so up Assassin's Creed's ass that I was super hyped for Red Dead. It was probably 1, 2 God of War and this, and Red Dead is my 2 most anticipated for the year, and it's just fallen by the wayside because of how awesome Odyssey is. Like, I just that carrot at the end of the stick, what everyone used to describe about Skyrim back in the day, where you start walking and then there's something to go and do, and it's the same idea for The Witcher. There's every 30 seconds was their kind of mantra that you walk 30 seconds, you're going to see something you want to go and do, and Assassins is totally doing the same thing. And the quests are awesome, whether it's the main missions or the side ones, everything just clicks. So I'm really happy.
No,
really
did you play as Alexios or Cassandra?
No, Cassandra.
Okay, because
Alexios has got the personality of a plank.
Yeah, isn't very good.
And Cassandra's awesome.
Maybe that's why I'm like the hooks didn't get into me.
Did you play as Alexios?
Well, when I booted it up for the stream, they were like, "Play Alexios." I'm like, okay, beep.
Just to watch the shitty acting? Or?
Yeah, I don't know. They're like, that was the request in the chat. They were like, I'm like, who should I pick? They're like, play Alexios, man. I'm like, all right,
done.
So now I
regretted every moment of it.
Yeah, maybe that's what's
go back and
me
play.
out.
There's some awesome missions in there. There's one particular highlight of mine that this is not a core mission, so don't stress, spoilers, whatever. It's actually a funny one. So you find this guy trapped in a cage, and he's with his parents outside, and they're all. I don't quite understand the whole rationale as to what their weird parents situation. Anyway, they needed this sword and shield that were being held. The sword by a blacksmith, and some thief had gotten their hands on the shield, and you needed both of those for this guy. And at which point they'd said it was kind of his legacy sort of thing, that whatever. Anyway, I went and chased down both those things. I saw the blacksmith and saw that there was an opportunity to hit on the guy, so I did, and all of a sudden, bang, bang. But I got the sword. And then I went off and chased down the... in both cases. And then went to go chase down the thief, found her, killed her, took the shield, left, returned to those, and then the whole story kind of transpires that it turns out those parents that were out the front, they were his adopted parents, and the 2 people that I'd kind of chased out were his actual parents. He didn't know that. So you kind of like, they set him out of the cage, he just sprints away, and then when you finally track him down, he's like, "You fucked my dad and killed my mum." He's like screaming at you. It's like they've got some genuinely funny ones in there as well as the serious stuff, and that just
that's amazing.
It's really funny, and there's a few others that do that as well, sort of thing as well.
Yeah.
Real happy, and then the game plays a treat as well. So. But we don't need to focus on how the game plays, because I fucked some guy's dad and
like that's
and
like you
killed
don't
his
get
mum.
That in many other games.
Yeah, and the fact like they were just so on the nose about it, like they delivered it perfectly.
You're like, yeah, no, I
stoked.
literally did all that.
Yeah, and you didn't have to go there with the dad, but I saw the temptation. He was horny as fuck, so I went for it.
So as playing, like as the character of Cassandra that you're playing, is that the go-to? Like, if
I don't know if I was Alexios and whether they kind of flip roles because they needed to be.
Well, no, but I mean, like in terms of how
genders.
You're playing it, are you just banging anyone that?
If an opportunity arises, yeah.
Yes, right.
Yeah. But there's not been that many. I think 2 or 3 out of the maybe 50 hours that I've played so far, but. Still, I guess if you're getting 2 or 3 in real life every 50 hours, you're probably tracking okay.
Yeah, no, that's...
Depending on your perspective, of course.
Happening, yeah.
Especially when they're other people's parents.
Yeah, that especially isn't happening.
But whatever, that's been my play style so far. I'm just exploring all options.
Very cool.
You're playing a lot of Red Dead, though.
I am playing a lot of Red Dead. I have played a couple other games, and one of them is in the news, so I'll wait to talk about that one in there. But yeah, first off, I got 100% trophies on the Paw Patrol.
Woot woot.
On a roll.
I did see that. But
Yeah.
there's no platinum, there's no gold.
No, there's no
even.
platinum,
It's
no
just
gold. So it's 4 silvers and
worst.
16 bronzes.
PlayStation employs someone.
Like, what the
make
fuck?
this thing happen.
Like, I understand why. It took me like 6 hours to get them all anyway. I got 7 trophies
platinum
on
for
the
less.
first level. Yeah, it's true. I guess they may not have pushed for it as well.
Yeah.
But the irony is, right, as I mentioned last week with Jess, was that like when you get all the pup treats in the level, you get
Oh, the platinum
a
bones
platinum
or whatever.
bone. And I'm like,
Slimy
yes,
pricks are teasing.
son
Did the
of a
game come to
bitch.
Xbox as well, though?
Yeah, it's on everything.
Okay, so maybe it's just their own little
Yeah,
thing and it's not meant to be I don't know. Whatever.
Potentially.
Rookie move. Get it right.
Yeah, very rookie move. It's kind of poos. Hang on. I just realized the battery on this is not doing too well, so I'm going to have to put you in power saver mode. Thank you.
I can just talk shit if you need to go get a power.
Yeah, I'll do it later. Yeah, so I spent the time of that, got that out of the way, done. James helped me out. It was very cool. That's how we spent our Saturday morning. Yeah, Red Dead. Lots of Red Dead. Like, that's the one I've been playing the most. I've lost I've lost time with Red Dead. I'm like,
Lost time, as in family time and all
Well,
those sorts
just
of things. All the
general,
things that you
just
should be
time.
doing, real life commitments that just fall by the wayside because South Park's even taking the piss out of that. I don't know if you've seen it. Like that.
Yeah.
is-
it's just
yes,
time.
it's just acknowledged by everyone that this thing's just ruining lives or will ruin lives.
It was just more of a, oh yeah, I'll play for a little bit. I'm like, oh fuck, it's 1 in the morning. Oh, it's 12 o'clock.
Yeah,
Just
okay.
gotta go to bed. So it's mind you, I was only playing for like 2 hours because I start playing at like 9
Yeah.
or 10 o'clock. But I'm like, oh,
So how long have you put in now?
Oh,
roughly?
shit.
Best Though they probably count it anyway.
20.
Yeah, right.
Under
So
20.
he's barely scratched the surface.
I'm about 20, according to the save file, I'm 27% through the game.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So would you say you're mostly focusing on the core campaign, or are you kind
No,
of...
I'm just fun around.
Yeah, right.
So I've just started chapter 3.
Which I hear, again, not played yet, I hear that's when it gets really good.
It's been really good
Like
this whole time.
there's some people are complaining about the pacing that's very slow early on, and apparently chapter 3 is just universally acknowledged as the one that's where shit really starts happening.
Because you know, like the article, it's like if you find find Red Dead Redemption boring, you're playing it wrong. I
Yes.
agree. I totally agree. So with the game, you know, it's set in like the 1800s, like 1899. Like
Yeah.
this isn't GTA. You're not fanging around in a car. You're on a horse. So it takes 15 minutes to get somewhere. Well, not really. It's exaggerating, but
People got to
does
check their
take-
expectations.
Yeah, it does
and-
take minutes to get there, and a lot of this game is part of the key story. Not really spoilers. Is talking about Arthur and his him being alone. Even with a group of people.
I know you're
him
trying to
being
dodge,
alone.
trying to dodge. any
Yeah,
key
and
points here.
like part of the thing is about him just being like the I'm like
Isolation.
Isolation. Thank you. I was thinking like celerity, or something that's even a word. But the isolation that comes with that, and like because you might go for ages and not see anyone. You'll go hunting and you'll be to 2 days in game and you've caught some stuff and you're heading back and you've not seen anyone.
That works for me. No, I'm alright with that.
I'm enjoying that.
I just need to actually get to it.
I'm enjoying it so much. So the idea if someone's like it picks up, I'm like it's been fucking good like this whole time.
Yeah, does that worry you if people are saying that things kind of change, the momentum kind of changes in chapter 3, and you're actually enjoying the way it is right now? Does that worry you a little bit at all, or you still just have you have faith in Rockstar that they'll still balance it right?
Yeah, I have faith. Like there has been moments of intensity, like you rob a train and you know all that sort of stuff. I think this is where the heist missions start coming in.
Yeah, right.
So I think that's why they're talking about the big increase. Like the last thing I did in chapter 2 is just do a big shootout in the town, and then you have to bounce because you block fucking half town. So like I'm certainly enjoying it. The characters are great. I'm really liking like where Dutch is going as a character and why everyone's what's the appeal
why
of
it's so
him?
important, yeah.
Why everyone's feels compelled to join that gang. Like he's charming his way through, and even the side characters are all fantastic. Not everyone's not getting full focus. Like everyone's getting kind of blasé, but you're getting enough from them in Rockstar's.
But you might see more of them
storytelling.
down the line too.
Yeah.
Potentially, so
There are some characters I haven't seen yet that are on the art books.
Oh, yeah,
and
okay.
stuff. Apparently, there's a glitch in the camp where you may not see anyone until like the third chapter, and they're like, "Well,
yeah,
oops.
certain people will disappear if you fail a certain mission, and I don't know the details again. I haven't played it, but you fail a certain mission and then you restart as you would normally restart from a particular checkpoint or whatever. Then it causes this great issue where people that are supposed to be there just disappear until
they're
chapter 3 or 4, when they're needed next.
As long as
if
there's
you
no missions
reboot, like if you start the mission from scratch, then it's fine.
As long as there's no missions I've missed out on with them not being there, I don't care.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'll see.
We'll never know.
I'll see them when they get there. But no, like, I'm enjoying it a lot. It's really, really cool. I've gone through 2 horses. I haven't killed any yet. I had my first horse, which was Rupert. It's that $6 horse you get at the start of the game.
Nice.
Rupert's been fantastic, but he wasn't quite getting there.
What does a high-end horse cost?
$40. Oh, there is like I think there's $100 horse something. And then I've just
a big spender.
So I've just upgraded to Rufus the horse. Oh, my horse is gonna start with R for some reason.
Good.
So I've got Rufus the horse. He's a lot faster. He's like twice as big as Rupert. So I know people get really attached to their horse, and it was conflict of getting rid of Rupert. It was conflict.
Is that because you knew that when he got taken away that was when he was going to become glue? Or
no,
they were going to put him in the Melbourne Cup and he was going to fall over and die? Like, sorry, it's a touchy subject, but it shouldn't.
It is a very touchy subject, also, but because for my fantasy football team, we use the Melbourne Cup.
Oh Jesus! Yeah,
and
that was your horse
draft pick. No, I got first this year. So I was like,
yeah, okay.
And every year we've done the Melbourne Cup as our draft picker.
Yeah,
our horse has died, so I think it's our fault. Just saying.
Yeah. I think that sounds about right.
Yeah, so
you're horrible people.
It was tough because at this point I'd spend like 15 hours with the Rupert, and I'm like, Rupert's fucking good. But there was a mission I had to chase down this cart,
you went fast
and he
enough.
just wasn't getting it. He just like when I got there in the end, I had to do like a long shot with my rifle to get the dude.
Yeah, okay.
I'm like, you're just not pulling it, man. Like I'm gonna need speed in the future.
And that's something you're always balancing, or is it just a natural progression? Like you level up and some of these bottom level options disappear?
It feels like a level of progression. Like I had maxed my affection with that horse as much as I could.
Yeah, okay.
So like we were fucking tight.
I don't want to know how you maxed your affection with.
I smooched that horse. No,
if that's all you did, that's fine. That's all right, cool. We don't go all that guy's dad on me.
Boy. Yeah, it's funny how the boy has become the word of 2018.
I was actually talking about the guy from Assassin's Creed that I nailed, the blacksmith. Don't get all that about it.
No,
if you're just talking kissies with kids, that's fine. That works better too.
Well, because in God of War you had boy, which is B-O-I.
Yeah.
and then in this one you have your horse and it's boah, B-O-A-H. How they pronounce boys, but it's like it's
bloody Southerners.
It's become a thing. It's become a thing
Good.
this year.
I hope they did it on purpose.
Boys all around. You got yourself a boy. I'm Australian boy. I can't do it.
Yeah, okay.
I'm Australian, but I don't have
nasally enough.
I've not got the nasally enough accent to make it happen. But
what else you played? Or is that those two basically in it?
Oh, and I played Flight 76, but that's in the news, and we'll talk about that when we get there. Speaking of news, let's jump on into the section we call Inform the Players. We'll tell you about PlayStation news that's happened this week. Kicking things off is PUBG is allegedly finally coming to PlayStation. Oh, actually, before we jump into that, speaking of news, what do you think of the PlayStation Classic? After we talked last week about how you and I
it doesn't have Shane Warne, so it's a big fail in my books. It doesn't have Final Fantasy 9, so it's a big fail in my books.
Yeah, 2 out of 20 we got.
Is that really what we got?
Yeah,
holy shit.
We predicted 2. We got Metal
to think
Gear.
We put all these amazing top tier games in there, outside of Shane Warne, like legit top tier games. Geez, all right.
But we did make that list prior to knowing about Spyro Remaster.
We knew about Crash. But yeah, Spyro and Medieval and all those sorts of things.
Yeah, we didn't know about Medieval.
And then what else? There's been other bits. Oh, and then you got your Final Fantasy ports onto PS4 and all those sorts of things as well. So
and the Castlevania with Symphony of the Night just coming out. We know about that, obviously. So we
still plenty of other good games that I feel like they ignored, but it is hard to with like a platform like PS1, which some will argue is the best. Got the best catalogue of games ever. For me, it's the Super Nintendo. But anyway, PS1 would probably be second best. Like it's pretty hard to choose a sampling from that thing and get it right for everyone. And it's a weird
licensing thing. Like what I'm finding interesting is
music and those sorts of things.
Yeah, like we put Tony Hawk on there, knowing that would never happen because of music rights. Metal Gear's on there, which is interesting.
I mean, we made this list not thinking it was ever going to happen.
No. Metal Gear Solid but no Silent Hill.
Yeah, true.
Which is real weird. Point.
Yeah, there's some weird selections or non-selections, but whatever. They've got to get it right. And I just wish they'd, I don't know, connected it online or made like the memory card slots legit, like expandable memory. You could just buy a little memory card that's got another X number of games on it.
There is some information a bit later on.
And there'll be modders that'll break it, and that's fine. Maybe I'll just have to jump into that community. I don't know.
PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is coming to PS4. Coming to PS4 has seemed like an inevitable scenario for quite a long time, and now there's evidence suggests that it That'll arrive on Sony's system within the next month. Apparently, the game's already on PlayStation 4 servers, and at least to some extent, the in-the-know analyst Daniel Ahmed, also known as ZHugeEX, has gone on record saying that he believes it's really releasing in December. Couple this with new information from about the Korean rating leak for PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds that happened a couple months back, and so therefore the PS4 version is looking like a lock. I believe Eurogamer has come out and confirmed some of the details as well.
Yeah, and there was an Amazon leak.
Yeah.
That people screenshotted. It says December 8th specifically.
Yeah, so the next thing I wrote here, with PUBG dropping on December 20 last year on Xbox and Microsoft being big fans of 12-month exclusivity, it's very likely that we will see it on that date. That's my theory.
I don't know.
But I also don't give a fuck. So
yeah, I don't think anyone really cares anymore.
No one fucking cares about PUBG anymore.
I was listening to something on the way here, actually. They were talking about the fact that there's DLC for PUBG that's come out that's got... Suicide Squad related, so it's got Joker and Harley Quinn, and
looks so bad.
But like the price of them, it was like $45 to get the two skins for like essentially two characters, and that would normally trigger a whole bunch of angry responses, and not a single one happened because people just don't care about the game anymore. Yeah. And I thought, look, hyperbole just a smidge because there's still, I don't know, 1 million odd people playing a day or whatever, but that's so small these days.
Yeah, the market
in that sort of community, no one cares.
The market has shifted between Fortnite and Blackout now.
Yeah,
because Blackout was doing what Call of Duty did. Blackout is doing what PUBG did better. And Fallout. And
Fortnite.
Horrible day. Fortnite took what PUBG had made it more child friendly, opened it up, made it more creative,
and became the biggest game in the world.
It's just huge,
or close enough to it anyway.
It's bonkers huge. Speaking of Fallout 76 though. I got a segue.
As you rope in your mistake.
Yeah, I made a mistake, but now it's a segue. Bethesda's prepared to support Fallout 76 for a long, long time, according to an ever-talkative Pete Hines, who we
missed out on an opportunity to interview at PAX, but anyway.
Yeah, busy man. We were in the same. I did stand near him though.
I did an interview with someone else in the same room that he was getting interviewed by Dave Milner at the time. I'm like,
nice. We were at,
it's almost like that time when I was at RTX and I went to the same cubicle that Kojima was in, but I didn't get to talk to him because it's awkward talking to someone in the toilet like that.
Yeah, you could have seen
especially when they don't have the translator and he's just trying to spring a leak.
Just really trying to piss. The Bethesda boss has told GameSpot and the developer that the developer plans on sticking with the online-only title, quote, as long as people keep playing it and shows no sign of slowing down, end quote. How long is Fallout 76 going to be up? Forever, Hines says. I don't know how to give an answer other than that. It's not like anybody makes a game and goes, well, this is going to make it for 10 years if we're lucky. Nobody thinks that way. Obviously, no one's expecting Fallout 76 service to stay on forever, but it's clear that Bethesda's willing to play the long game. Quote, once we get to private servers or whatever happens in the years following, I don't know. Maybe there's a point where it doesn't matter, but this is a massive franchise, a massive undertaking, and our commitment to it is never ending, and it continues on an ongoing basis, Hine reiterates. But what may take forever, Fallout 76 Day 1 patch. Fallout 76 is around 45 gig in size, but
I don't know, 54.
But not Red Dead huge. However, included is its 54 gigabyte Day 1 patch, and suddenly its total file size is coming in at a whopping 100 megabytes. I have 3 minutes to get my power cord. Talk about Fallout.
So when it comes to that Fallout patch, I'm sure not all of it will be.
Fuck!
I think everything's still live. If you're there, good.
Oh, I smushed my toast so hard.
When it comes to that patch, some important things to note. So the game might be 40, whatever it was, gig. That's cool. 54 gig patch sucks. It's going to cost you a lot of bandwidth. It's probably not going to fill up 100 gig of your PlayStation, though. Realistically, some of that content is going to replace files that are already existing in the platform. That's going to be updated bits and pieces. Some of those things will be redundant now and won't actually make up the file size. They kind of get replaced. So that's an important thing to keep in mind when it comes to those file sizes. I think everything's still running. You don't have a toe anymore.
Oh, so the problem is that's how I broke my toe last time.
You don't need to hustle. I can talk to the viewers or talk to the players about all things Fallout, a franchise that typically I've not cared about.
See, the thing is, this is how I broke my toe last time. I slipped on a mat at my in-laws' place, and as I stepped, my toe went into the ground, just obliterated.
What I'll appreciate is the fact that I'm sure that probably happened on camera. Like literally, as you were cutting across, they were just seeing this blue mass just start to fall.
Yeah,
and that's awesome. But Yeah, I was just saying that the file size, like that 54 gigs, probably going to be replacing bits and pieces of the actual content in it. So it's not going to take up a whole 100 gig.
Yeah, but it's also not surprising because when I downloaded the beta, I was looking at a 96 gigabyte download file anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know where people are getting this 54 from, or this 45, I should say, because the whole time I've been looking at, 100 gigs. So maybe,
yeah, I don't know.
I think PC had about 45, sorry. Unsure. But, yeah.
In terms of the life of the game, I mean, obviously, look, a game like that, because it fits in that same Destiny and Division and Monster Hunter sort of mold, where it's this online living sort of experience. It doesn't surprise me they're going to support it for a long time. Chances are it's going to be a long, long time before we see a core Fallout game, just because of their openness about the fact that, yeah, because you've already got Starfield, not Starlink, Starfield, that is probably, 2020, something like that.
Yeah, so
that's then the next core thing from them, and then Elder Scrolls is after that. And I mean, we know that they kind of run on 3 to 4 year sort of cycles, probably closer to 4 to 5, really. So 2020 and then 2025, and then God knows when you see Fallout in there. So it doesn't surprise me they want to add legs to this thing, just to keep Fallout in the consciousness. And for those who are hardened Fallout fans, they've always got that to go back to. There'll be a next gen port, I'm sure, and all that sort of thing. And it'll just keep living until they're ready to chop it in the neck. And all right, let's lean into Fallout 5 or whatever it is they do next.
Yeah, like I do wonder how far it's going to go. It's nice to know that they are putting that effort in there, because when you do have a completely online focused game, you need to know that the devs are keen to support it as it is. I spent about 5 hours with it during the beta period. I thought it was fine. It's more Fallout. It's literally It feels like Fallout 4. It looks the same. Like, there are some improvements, especially with the lighting effects. It obviously is a huge one, but it plays much the same. I didn't have...
Probably has the same bugs.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I didn't have a lot of bugs. I didn't have a lot of frame rate. I did have some frame rate drops here and there, but not enough. It like goes, oh, and then it comes back. Like it seemed to be...
It groans for a split second and then...
Yeah, even if it's under 30, it seems somewhat steady. Like it wasn't, like breakable. So I'll be still picking it up this week.
Yeah, I've got a copy on order for PlayStation. I've never been the biggest Fallout fan, but I'm hopeful that the fact that I'll get to play with others might actually be what gets me into this franchise. Because I love Elder Scrolls. I'm a big fantasy guy, and I don't even mind some post-apocalyptic stuff, but Fallout just hasn't grabbed me so far for some reason.
There were some...
So I'm hoping this does.
There are some changes that come with playing with other people. One of them being, obviously, if you're not playing with people like I was playing solo during the beta period. It's a very lonely experience.
That, it probably doesn't suit me too much then.
Given
my interests.
But also makes sense in the fact, in the whole idea that you are the first, essentially some of the first people out of that vault. So you're not going to see people. And one of the, they've mentioned that you won't see any NPCs. All quests are given to you by like little computer terminals and shit. That part sucks. Because like, although you do see ghouls and bugs and creatures, the usual enemies, you don't see NPCs.
So how do you get missions distributed to you?
Terminals and stuff.
Oh, okay,
yeah. Terminals and natural things in the environment and stuff like that. So when you do spot someone that's moving like an NPC would, you're either A, that's an enemy, or that's another player. And initially, I don't know about you, when I was like...
Well, I didn't play the beta.
I just saw people and I was like, oh, shit.
Because you're expecting him to maybe turn on you or something like that?
Yeah. Because
it was like a group walking together? Or was
it was like 2 or 3 people walking up and I was like, hey... I just kept looting, just doing what I was doing, just not doing any major. And then And then they kind of walked up and you see them suss me and they just left. But for that minute, I'm like...
What sort of penalty is there for death? Do you just lose all the stuff that you got with you at the time? Or okay.
Like, but if you fight, like if they shoot you and you don't shoot back, it's kind of, I think there's a little bit of a leniency there. Yeah. Apparently, I killed someone.
Like another player.
Yeah. So I was doing a junkyard mission where it's like, hey, stop the 3 waves, whatever the fuck, and you'll get some gear. So I did the 3 waves, and apparently at some point I shot and killed another player.
Oh.
I don't know when or
Something
how.
ricocheted off a wall and you bounce back and
next
just got old George right in his forehead.
Yeah, you are wanted. You 10 caps is your bounty. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, right. Is 10 caps a large amount in that context there.
Yeah, you only get
like caps would be more prevalent in the future games for obvious reasons. There's more people out and all that sort of thing. But so 10 caps is a lot.
Yeah, 10 caps seems like a lot. So yeah, after a little while, I certainly got decked by 2 dudes. I've got some caps here now.
Hey,
add to the shelf.
That there seems fairly familiar.
Yeah, because it was your.
It was mine.
But yeah, so like I've added caps to the shelf to make it.
Nice.
No one ever see that on camera. That's all for me. But yeah, it's a very lonely experience. But I can't wait to play it with more people. I think that's where it will shine. And if we play with some community members and whatnot.
Yeah, well, let's do it then, because that might help get me in the door.
Because I'll be playing it. And if you want to play with me,
let's do it.
It's a no way out all over again.
Nice clean fist bump.
That was a very clean fist bump. It's very, very good. Talk about communities. Anyone would think that we were mildly popular. Speaking of popular, PlayStation Now is generally given some shit in gaming circles.
And it turns out, actually, semi-popular.
With more attention being placed on Xbox's Game Pass. However, it seems Sony Streaming's and now download subscription service has been quietly bringing home the bacon, as new research from Superdata makes it the market leader by some margin, excluding services like PlayStation Plus. According to a new report, PS Now commanded 52% of the gaming subscription market in the quarter ending 30th of September, which means that downloads were only implemented at the very tail end of this analysis. PS Now has obviously been around a lot longer than comparable services, and it also costs more, which will boost its standing in terms of revenue, but could also turn consumers away. All in all, it's quite a surprising piece of research. Although we should mention it is extrapolated from a sample, and therefore shouldn't be considered hard.
As a maths person, I totally agree with that.
But correct. As scientists, we did a lot of statistics. This is questionable.
Random samples. It
is also worth pointing out the top of the 3 gaming subscriptions counted for just 6% of overall PC and console revenue during the tracked period. So none of these services appear to be particularly popular just yet, but within their own circles, they seem to be pretty huge. There's definitely something for Sony to work with here, although it looks, with the likes of Google and Microsoft about to join in on the streaming race, it needs to make its head start count.
So it flogged EA's offers in terms of what's EA Access and Origin. It flogged Game Pass. I think the consumer base is probably the only thing that's really carried it over.
Yeah, just percentages.
But even then, it's still a weird thing because Now is still not, like, we don't have it here. There's plenty of regions around the world that don't have it, whereas we have Game Pass.
Game Pass is everywhere.
So
40 countries, I think they said.
Yeah, because actually, there was something today. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a weird one because it's a big differential. It's 50 whatever it was %. But there's no hype about the service basically ever, except for when they added downloads. And I was super keen on that myself, except that we still don't have it available here. So I'm like, oh, great. Oh, fuck. When?
Yeah, so you can get your US account and jump in and then download it, quote unquote. Yeah. But even then, I'm questionable on how well that would work here.
Yeah, so they need to make the service.
I have a US account. I'll give it a go. Yeah. I don't want to pay for it. So
yeah, good point.
We
don't get that much for it because of the number of games that we buy or get sent anyway for our respective publications. Like you don't get as much bang for the buck, I guess.
Yeah, it's certainly true. It is when the fact that they, as I stumble my way through a sentence, as they say it's an extrapolation, that instantly throws out that number for me. I'm like, no, like you're not fucking with the samples. Like that's not a clear representation. It's not as if they assessed all 80 million PS4s out in the wild and then took out
all the Xboxes.
My fucking toe is stumping, by the way.
Oh, really?
I booted that ground real hard.
I don't see any blood on the carpet, so we're off to a good start.
No, it's just the problem is because last time I broke my right big toe doing it.
Just hook it up here and
jeez, it's fun.
Look at that foot.
Yeah, that's a foot. So I'm questionable on those numbers, but I thought it was something to at least bring up.
Yeah, I mean we'll be talking about those sort of services, I guess, again shortly.
Very soon.
Yeah, I guess interesting the direction it's all going. I'm glad that it's all heading that direction. Like I don't mind the idea of your Netflix style thing. Hopefully they still offer the download feature like what Game Pass does and what Now is beginning to do. Because if you've got a weaker connection, that's worthwhile. And I only recently got NBN, or earlier this year got NBN, and prior to that I would have been.
Isn't NBN great?
Oh, it's great, but I would have been up
so
shit
good.
creek prior to that. So I don't know. We'll see how it all goes.
This next one is called Like a Whisper. Without making a noise, Sony has dropped a new, quieter model of the PS4 Pro, as pointed out by Digital Foundry. The PS4 Pro CUH7200 is the company's latest hardware revision, and apparently it's the quietest model yet. At this point in time, the tweaked console is exclusive to the Red Dead 2 bundle, and its existence has only been confirmed in the UK. Digital Foundry has found that it can run about 5 decibels quieter. It will run a little hotter, however, but it is better than the industrial fan that currently lives under my TV unit. One thing, it does also change the power supply, as it's now using the standard figure 8 cable rather than the kettle cord.
Oh yeah, okay, yep.
Which I assume will probably be helping it run lower if it's better power.
Yeah,
if it's better, if it's running better power consumption,
has a knock-on effect.
Yeah. This is just a bit.
Yeah, you raised it with me before we started recording. I'm like, what model? Hang on, what did I miss? But I do recall actually hearing about this at some point now, and like, great. If you buy a PlayStation now, it doesn't have to sound like a Air Force jets taking off.
Yeah.
But otherwise, okay.
Like I've still got
my Pro and I'm happy with it. Yes, it gets a bit loud. If I go to capture stuff, I have to kind of tweak my settings beforehand so that it kind of just takes the sample and then kills that off. But
yeah, so my Gen, I'm rocking the Gen 1 PS4 Pro.
Yep, me too.
However, mine's the modified one, as we've seen before with the God of War.
Beautiful specimen.
Oh, it's beautiful. So when Ethan from Technology and Gaming did pull it apart, he did re-thermal everything.
Yeah, okay,
and fuck with it. So it should have made it run better, but even with Red Dead, it's still like, wah. So
right.
I do wonder where it would be if that didn't happen, or whether it's just the games now they're just more demanding, just chewing its guts.
I don't know. We'll see how it all goes. It doesn't really impact me, and I guess great for anyone who gets it. Yeah,
I would like.
You can never complain, I guess. Yeah,
because our good friend Dash from Dash Culture constantly bitches and whines about his about the loudness of his PlayStation.
Bitches and whines, you suck.
I love you, Dash.
We love you.
Buy a new Pro. It's buy a new one.
Yeah, ship it in from the UK apparently.
Yeah, well, it depends.
I'm sure it's probably
they work in games retail. They should be able to see whether it's available now or not.
Yeah,
it's on the side of the box.
Good point. Yeah, let's get to it.
The next one, we want all the monies. Destiny 2 Forsaken sales haven't met publisher Activision's expectations, despite the expansion making a fuck ton of money when it launched in September. Quote, some of our franchises like Destiny are not performing as well as we'd like, end quote. The company said rather bluntly during its most recent earnings call. The problem appears to be that Destiny is struggling to keep players outside the hardcore crowd engaged. COO Cody Johnson told investors, we have not yet seen the full core re-engage in Destiny, which has led to an underperformance against expectations to date. Some players are in wait-and-see mode. If you're in, you're deeply engaged. If not, we think now's the time to bring players back. Destiny 2 may be in great shape right now in terms of general structure and gameplay, but people have bounced off the game before, aren't likely to come back. This guy. Until they're convinced that it's worth their time.
I won't even do that.
Me either. We're sure that some would argue that Destiny had already been given its one chance too many. In any case, Activision doesn't sound best pleased. According to Kotaku, the publisher is also promising investors, quote, a faster content model and new forms of monetization for the game, end quote. God only knows what that will mean for a title going forward, but we're really hoping that more microtransactions aren't heading their way. Josh, in his sabbatical, has been deep diving back into Destiny 2.
So I guess he's one of those that Activision loves at the moment.
He went back and he's loving it. He is loving it. He went and bought posters and he's now got framed Destiny shit in his house. And he's buying the big fucking Lego, whatever the equivalent block. Yeah. Like, he's going hard. I'm like, dude, I'm just happy you're playing games again. So he's in. But this is disgusting. Like, this is Activision at its perfect example.
Yeah, this is Bobby Kotick's name all over it.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he's still there, but we always just blame him anyway.
But, like, Destiny's making money, and
it's like how we blame Phil Harrison for anything goes wrong at PlayStation. He's been gone for 15 years.
Like, Activision Blizzard, as a full company, they're not, as we all know, they are prone to microtransactions. Look at, Blizzard, in terms
they
of
own
Overwatch,
King for
whatever.
Yeah, and they own King, who do Candy Crush.
Yeah.
So, they bought them because of that
and their Call of Duty now being littered with them as well. So it's no surprise that they want to be putting more microtransactions in. Destiny 2 launching with the shaders being a big problem hidden behind paywalls. It's horrible. And what is astounding to me personally, and I know that this sentiment's shared a lot on the internet, is like, why do you need all the money? What's happy with, like, I guarantee
another
you,
layer of notes under you.
Destiny
when you go to sleep
is
at night?
still making money, and it's still making millions
it'll be
and
super
millions
profitable.
of dollars. But
Yeah, it's raising 9 million a day, but they projected 10 million or a month maybe.
yeah, like what the fuck?
Yeah,
What the actual fuck?
but at the same time, I also think a bit of it is kind of us all on the other end getting a little bit too fucking Activision. They've
If
just come out and reported
anyone
this.
had come out with this.
We had our tracked numbers, and it's slightly below those. It's not like they've then proceeded to wail on Bungie or
True,
gamers. Like
true.
they've just kind of spoken. Probably got their stats guy out. It's always the stats guy, and
What's
you never want to be the stats
It's
guy.
an earnings call. It's all about data. It's all about like investment
And they've just gone,
details.
look, we projected to get this, it didn't get this, so it's underperformed. Done. And we're going, fucking Activision, they're not happy, they're not getting all the money. So, like, and I did kind of rampage a little bit like that at the beginning. You greedy pricks, and then I've kind of toned it down a
Look,
little bit
I get
since.
that. I get that outrage. It's the precedence that it's sent before. Like, their behavior in the past has dictated this response. If they had previously gone, hey, it underperformed, but we'll double down and we'll just make it a better game.
Yeah. Well, apparently there's some leaks kicking around about, or leaks or data kind of kicking around about a supposed Destiny 3. But they need to work out what the hell that thing actually looks like, because they made a ton of changes from Destiny 1 to, like, they got everything right towards the end of Destiny 1, and then they flipped it on its head for Destiny 2, and you brought in, you brought in a lot of people like myself who weren't, like, I played the first Destiny and I enjoyed it for a little bit, and then I kind of bounced. Didn't really see everything through. Destiny 2 I did. As time's gone by, I haven't, just because it's hard to keep going back over and over again. They brought in a new crowd, but then kind of pissed off the existing one at the same time for the changes. There was a big difference, and then they've started to get it all right again. They don't seem to be able to balance the game for both audiences, and that's going to be their problem, because I think they're budgeting, or they're setting these expectations based on the fact that they'll be able to harness both communities, and they're not getting them at the moment.
I think folk double down on one.
Yeah, and go with the hardcore one, because they're the ones that, like, that means your game's in the good graces of the community at the very least.
Yeah, in terms of microtransactions, the whole system is based. Oh, my fucking toe's killing me. It's all based around the idea of the whales, right? People that would spend the most amount of money. So why not double down on the people that will give you the most amount of money?
Yeah, and if you pick up people like myself along the way, great.
Yeah.
But if not,
because if they rather than trying to make it approachable, if they just go, hey, this is the best Destiny game you'll ever play. We've taken on feedback and we've made it. We've worked on it. Like, the problem with very statistics, very data focused information like this, you don't hear the creative side. So from here, all you hear is, it's not making enough money. We need to find ways for it to make more money. But the answer to that should, like, to me, the
lies
answer
at the feet of the creative people and what they're doing, and then you monetize around that.
correct. But once again, previous practice by Activision means he's the funding model, work around the funding model. So if they were to go, hey, we're just going to make it the best game that we can be, or we're going to in the next expansion, or we're going to bring in new DLC that's got to do this, this, and this, and this. That's what I want to hear about.
Yep.
I don't want to fucking hear about how they want to put more microtransactions, because I'm sick of talking about microtransactions. Period. It's because, like, it's abhorrent, and they're still doing it. Everyone's still doing it.
Well, it's a weird thing, and cycling back to our last bit of news about the subscription services. So another stat that came out of that thing, and again, we spoke about it, small sample size, but the average spend from people, if they were a subscriber of one of those services, $25 per month. This is US, but $25 per month on microtransactions and other bits and pieces in game, versus $10 if you didn't have those services and you bought the game off the shelf. So, like, that, microtransactions are still a factor, and it seems like if you're going down that path, the subscription service path, then you're more inclined to pay for those. So there is still some interest there, and it's just a matter of getting the balancing act right, whether you're Activision or Ubisoft or whatever. Like, people wanted to wail on Ubisoft for the stuff that they did in Assassin's Creed Odyssey at the beginning. It's fine. You totally don't need to go there. I didn't, and it's only, like, I'm late game now. I'm like, I'm going to buy a few cosmetics because I've put 50 plus hours in this game. I'm really enjoying it, and I want to get that stuff because it looks kind of cool. It cost me $7.
Had you felt that they're being bombarded up until this point?
No, in the case of Assassins, it's super well hidden. Like, when you jump into the menus, you got all your normal screens, and you press R1 to tab across through all your different, like, your loadouts or the map or whatever it is, and in the top right corner there's like your little right button from your D-pad that says store. Like it's just the little symbol for the right button, and then store there in the top left. It's the same thing, but for your menu or whatever the main menu is. Like it's super
intrusive.
hidden. You wouldn't know, and they don't force it down your throat either. When you go to boot up the game and you got your save games and all that sort of thing, they've got, hey, here's some new stuff that we've added, but a lot of games
every menu.
and that's fine. Like that happens with games all the time. I think they've nailed how you do it, and people are going for it. And I don't normally buy microtransactions, certainly not cosmetic ones, but I did in Assassins because I'm loving the game. And what's $7 when you've put in 50 hours?
That's it.
My wife may not be super stoked because we're like more or less one income now, but she won't watch this episode. Maybe.
No,
too busy nursing a baby, I'm sure.
It's kind of bullshit, but I'm sick of talking about it as well. Moving on. The Game Awards. Jeff Keighley has come out with some more news about the 2018 Game Awards. It will be airing on the 6th of December, which will be a Friday for us.
Yes, Friday for us.
And we'll have, quote, the largest lineup of new game announcement in the show's history, end quote.
So we already know some things there, and I'm not talking about what you and I have discussed. Some stuff that came out from today.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be the Game Awards without Jeff's buddy Hideo Kojima. He says, quote, he's always there in some form, here, as he told GamesBeat. But we haven't said anything about the world premiere part of the show. Our things that's important to me is that when we first start talking about the show, we focus on the awards. As we get close to the show, we'll share some things, although honestly, we won't talk about what are in the effect surprises of the show.
Do you want to talk about the two things that we do know so far?
Sure.
So they came from today's Xbox thing. We'll talk more in detail about that whole thing shortly. Devil May Cry 5 is going to be there because they brought it out on stage. They spoke a little about it, and then said we're going to share more at the Game Awards. And then you remember the old Summer of Arcade, Winter of Arcade? It's back.
Ooh.
May not, but then they're going to talk about what games they are at the Game Awards as well. So the trickle has now begun, and we're a month out, so we'll start to see, wait, what's the date? Yeah, the 11th. We're less than a month. So things are just going to gradually trickle from here. You start getting a few, maybe 3 weeks out. It's the first little teasers of whatever may come or what people are going to be there. We know Kojima's going to be there because he has some input with the Best Student Game Award, because one of my former students as a teacher is working in game dev, and he had a game at PAX and they nominated for the Best Student Game, and I'm not sure if they've been accepted yet or whether that's public, or I don't know whether they've actually been greenlit regardless. But like if they get greenlit to the nomination, then that means Kojima and all those guys and Todd Howard and Vince Zampella and all these other big names from the industry, they get to play it, and that's kind of cool.
Very cool. But the Game Awards are fucking fantastic. But they ain't as cool as the ones that we're judges on, which is the Dash
Awards.
Community Awards 2018.
Well, no, there's we're judges, and then there's the community.
Yeah, we're judges, so we help make the nomination process. Have you submitted yours?
Nah.
That's who yes, they did.
Shit. I'll send them to you later. I wanted to give myself time because I wanted to play Red Dead, and then I never did, and then a baby arrived, and that was actually before all those things, so that's not really an excuse. Doesn't matter. Dash, I'll get them to you soon.
Yeah, I didn't mind West. I was like, when do they have to do that? Fuck, and I had to sit there and do them on the couch. So keep an eye out for them, because open nominations kick off on the 20th. Yes, I remember that date. I think that's why I was like, I got time. I thought it was the 20th too, so I'm like, but yeah, jump in there, get that done after this. But let's do some quick fire news, and then we'll jump into the top 10, the best-selling games. Winnie the Pooh and the 100 Acre Woods are now joining Kingdom Hearts 3. I got a rumbling in my tumbly. Oh boy! For some Kingdom Hearts all of a sudden. We'll jump into that now. Kingdom Hearts. It's so conflicting for me because I played the first, couldn't care less since. And then Winnie the Pooh's in there, and I'm like, I'm so excited by every property in Kingdom Hearts that isn't fucking Final Fantasy. However, it's garbage to play, so it kind of doesn't allow me to do what I want to do. Like, I want to do the Toy Story. I fucking love Toy Story, but I know it's going to be some garbage game, like in terms of gameplay. So I'm not going to be able to enjoy the part that I want. Yeah, okay. You have to deal with all this weeby stuff. All this other shit that I don't care about. Hammerhead will be the star villain in the next Spider-Man DLC, Turf Wars. Beat Saber drops November 20, and it does include PS exclusive content. And the PlayStation Classic is running on an open source emulator called PCSX Rearmed, which I don't know about you. If they're running an open source one, I mean, it's easily hackable. Wink, wink. Let's go back to that topic before. We're adding Final Fantasy and Shane Warne Cricket 99 and Harvest Moon. Yes. And Harvest Moon. Back to nature. Oh, yeah. And the top 10 selling games for the week ending 4th of November. Number 10, Lego DC Supervillains. Number 9, Overwatch Legendary Edition. Number 8, Rainbow Six Siege. Number 7, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Number 6, NBA 2K19. Number 5, FIFA 19. Number 4, Marvel Spider-Man. Number 3, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Number 2, Call of Duty Black Ops 4. And number 1, The Red Dead Redemption 2. So no surprises there. Red Dead obviously being the top, Call of Duty being second. Spider-Man still holding strong. WWE kicked out of there. Rest in peace, WWE. I think Rainbow Six Siege and Overwatch are back in with some esports going on at the moment.
Yeah, why not?
But yeah, no major surprises.
List, I was too busy trying to get the hands and fingers right, and even when I went for number 1, I got 2 fingers stuck up. I was trying to tease everyone that I might flip them off, and then I didn't. But then I put this one down. All of a sudden, that one stuck up. I don't know what's going on. I'm tired.
But that's all the news and stuff out of the way. Now, Paul, it's time that we chat to the players. And this week, we're chatting about Xbox's PSX equivalent, the XO18.
Yes.
So, this morning, at time of recording, Xbox unleashed this 2-hour showcase showing off what they have in the near future, as well as some big announcements. So, we want to talk about, some of the things that they talked about. Obviously, playing PlayStation Show, we're not going to dive too deep, but it's more about what does this mean for PlayStation? How does this impact PlayStation in a year where they chose to not have a PSX?
Yeah.
And what does this mean moving into potentially the next generation?
Where do you want to kick things off?
It's up to you, man. This is your topic. I skimmed over it before we went live.
I live tweeted it for the player too. So, do we start with the studios?
Yeah.
So the Obsidian stuff's confirmed.
So the big announcement at the end of the show was that Microsoft have picked up two more studios. One of them being a company called Exile, which I've never heard of before.
They apparently do some RPGs, but
they did, and one that just dropped. Wasn't Banner Saga or something else, but
no. But I'll double check their work. That's how little I know about them.
They're relatively no one. That's fine. And the big one, which has been rumored for quite a while.
They've done a Bard's Tale.
Bard's Tale, that's the one. Thank you. And the big one coming out of it is Obsidian Entertainment. Though the creator of South Park: The Stick of Truth, and most prominently Fallout New
Alpha
Vegas.
Protocol.
And Alpha Protocol.
And most recently, they've been working on the it's CRPG. Big one of recent years. The name will come to me, but yeah, I don't know. But Bard's Tale Heist, Wasteland 2, they've been working on that. Torment, Tides of Numenera. So they've actually picked up 2 very similar studios. Yeah,
apparently they've worked together in the past as well. But
they
did mention they are keeping them separate, trying to keep them as independent as possible. While they hock a big Luger out of it.
That's pleasant. I still can't find the game. Oh, Pillars of Eternity. That's what they've been working on in recent years. And so that's very similar to what In Exile's done. So they actually got out there. They had Mike Booty, which is the best surname in the world, come out there and talk about how we didn't want to pick particular ones based on certain genres. We just wanted to get the best talent available, and then they picked out 2 teams that do CRPGs.
They just bought people that would be willing to sell.
But Obsidian in particular, I think that's a big loss for PlayStation because they're responsible for South Park. They're responsible for Fallout New Vegas. Pillars of Eternity. Well, the first one did come to PS4 and Xbox One. Mm-hmm. It was great. They've got a really long history of. They did Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic 2 back in the day, and whilst none of those games are exclusive to PlayStation, they still came to PlayStation, and now you're not going to get those games anymore. It's massive for Xbox. It's great for Xbox. People are making a big deal about. Okay, we've got all these studios now, and I take a look and I'm like, PlayStation. If you had to kind of schoolyard pick, Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox. Well, I think Xbox would be the last one picked still.
Yeah.
In spite of those the ones mid-year and these ones at the end of the year. They're great acquisitions, but they're still not... You're not in that same illustrious air that PlayStation and Nintendo are in at the moment.
I think that purely comes from we've not seen what they can do under this banner yet. And we won't. A lot of these guys, what they're working on has either A, just come out and been relatively unimpressive, talking, the labs with State of Decay, Forza Horizon 4 is apparently fucking dope, so that's pretty good.
But Playground are awesome. Playground are doing some good work.
But a lot of what we won't see, we won't see until next gen. It makes me incredibly excited to see what Microsoft will do come next gen.
They're going to hit the ground running.
Because they're going to go fucking bonkers. And I think as much as I love PlayStation, what PlayStation do, I think they're going to take a shit. There's going to take a hit. There's a shockwave here coming from what these guys could be. Now, majority of the studios that are here, like your 343, like your Coalition, these guys have only been they've been working for PlayStation with the Xbox for as long as is anyway. Same as Playground, same as what's the lab?
Undead Labs.
Undead Labs.
Well, Undead Labs were technically only just picked up, but yeah,
they were like so them and Playground. They've only been doing exclusives anyway, so they're like. And we've seen what they can do, so I don't think that's a massive one. It's more of an overall image that I think the PlayStation will take the shock for. Yeah,
possibly. Because I think about those studios, and 343, they're the biggest and probably oldest. Well, outside of Rare, the oldest, most established Xbox platform there. But the Halo brand has taken a few hits in recent years. So, and basically since 343 took over, rightly or wrongly. So that doesn't necessarily have the appeal it once did. The Coalition's still finding their feet with Gears. Gears 4 was very Force Awakens in terms of like it was just kind of Gears 1 with a slightly different skin, new characters, but we'll go the same sort of path. Turn 10 does great stuff, but they're racing games, so it's a niche audience straight out the gate. Rare have been patchy since they left Nintendo.
The Rare of old is not the new Rare. Like, don't get me wrong, I fucking love Sea of Thieves. And like, there's a lot of Sea of Thieves news that came out of too, which makes me really happy. But I don't. If you look at it, to its granular details, it's not overly impressive. Yeah. But if you zoom back and look at the bigger picture,
they're acquiring.
They're doing something.
Of course, PlayStation has been killing studios in recent years.
They are building to something. Yeah. So PlayStation haven't bought a studio in a while. They've shut down a couple recently. They shut down like Evolution,
and we still have our worries about the
Cambridge.
And then you've got for Media Molecule and those sorts of teams. That
exactly, Media Molecule's a concern. Are Sony bend at risk? We don't know. Like there is a more up in the air situation. Like although they are delivering the goods at PlayStation, it does wonder that they're not acquiring anything new. But they're just doubling down on what's already good.
Yeah, so I mean, look, you're right. They're gearing up for a big hit at the beginning of the next gen. Gears is in many ways, I think, going to be the kind of swan song, I guess, for the Xbox One in terms of big exclusives. Halo will be next gen. Maybe it'll straddle both if we're lucky, but it's probably designed with next gen in mind. And then all those studios they picked up mid-year, I can't imagine which one would even be the furthest along in development for something. Probably Playground in the form. I mean, they obviously had Forza at the time.
The next Forza 8 or whatever.
But those rumors about them working on an RPG, like the speculation was Fable, and I still believe that's probably true. But
man, imagine
like
that.
Those teams,
Fable was like a launch game for the Xbox. Whatever.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Ninja Theory probably the next one behind them because Compulsion released a game after they got acquired. Undead Labs had only just released a game then. I just don't see.
Well, yeah, that's State of Decay and State of Decay. Sorry, they did State of Decay 2, and that's still being supported with DLC as they talked about.
I think they're just going to try and add life to the games that are out. Put out Gears 5. That's your big tentpole for the rest of the generation. Let's see you in end of 2019, 2020, whenever these next gen consoles actually hit, and that's at that point 343 is ready to go, and that's probably your big tentpole in the middle there. But then that's supported by whatever Obsidian's doing. Like Obsidian's still a big team.
They have been quiet for a little while ish.
Well, Pillars came out earlier this year.
Yeah, no, I mean like in terms of big off releases. So like
yeah. So yeah, I think they'll get I think they're getting their ducks in a row to hit next gen hard, which is something PlayStation didn't do this gen. They had Killzone launch, which I thought it was probably one of the better Killzones, but it didn't hit like Killzone 2 did, for example. Infamous was slightly less than what you'd maybe expect from an Infamous game, despite the fact they only had 2 games to that point. What was it? The Order was pretty mediocre, and then like there wasn't much at the beginning. Like it was a pretty dry patch, and then it was when Uncharted 4 finally arrived. Bloodborne kind of got detected and got the ball rolling, but there's still a big gap between those two.
That came from the similar pattern that we saw with PS3. Like with PS3, everything sort of any massive thing dropped towards the end, like your Last of Us and that sort of stuff. Like,
they got in their own way. Yeah, in a lot of ways.
So for that reason, it also concerns me about the launch of PS5. What the fuck they're going to have? Like, unless Death Stranding and Ghost of Tsushima aren't PS4 games, actually PS5 games, that's the only way to get that generation started right. Because up until that point, everything else we know about everything's come within the last couple of years. So it's very unlikely that those studios will get a new game at the beginning of the life cycle.
Yeah, I agree. They're in a weird sort of spot, PlayStation specifically. And then, you look at what Xbox is doing. Maybe they won't be of the same caliber, but they're there. They're going to be
But there's
present.
games there. That's what counts.
And they'll still be really good games. They just may not be Last of Us good. And that's fine. Though, if you believe anything, the initiative, that new studio is working on a quadruple A game, whatever the fuck that means. But, it's a weird sort of spot for them to be in terms of those exclusives.
Yeah, like I said, I am keen to see what Xbox will do in that sense, with State of Decay 2 being below average and feeling very much like an independent game, and see if Thieves coming out, sinking almost. Like it's understandable the hesitation, but a good fight makes good games.
Yes, the whole rising tide lifts all boats.
So PlayStation, it's well and good that they're out the front just mushing. I do want them to have someone nipping at their heels. Yeah,
I think that's best for everyone. What else did we get? So I've already spoken about the game. Game Pass.
The other things they've done is they've kind of doubled down on Games Pass, which we knew they were going to anyway, which is certainly very, very cool. Because Games Pass is just getting they mentioned 16 new games.
Yep. Yes.
16. None of them are of a major note.
Ori,
except for Ori. I'm surprised.
Game of the Year 2019.
I'm surprised that Ori A isn't on there already, but
Ori 2 is Game Pass.
Yeah, Ori 1's
as well.
coming on there in December 20.
Yeah.
So not a big surprise. Ori is already a Microsoft exclusive, so whoop-de fucking do.
Yeah.
In terms of the announcement, it's like
like we knew it was coming. I guess for me as someone who picked up Game Pass, I'm like, great, I don't have to pay for the game.
Me too.
The game that I probably I'm firmly of the mind will be my Game of the Year for 2019.
I've been debating picking up Ori 1 for ages.
Do it.
And I think I should just do it. Only because I don't want to play it on PC.
Cry like a big man, baby.
And I never play my Xbox, so
yeah, okay,
yeah, it's a weird line. What else was there? So they showcased a bunch of third-party titles. Interesting, they did have Kingdom Hearts 3 there. That's where the Winnie the Pooh news came from. It's very, very interesting because any Eastern studios or titles aren't really living on the Xbox. The Xbox is not doing as well in those Eastern countries. We saw Just Cause 4. We saw Tomb Raider.
Yes, they spoke about some of the Tomb Raider content that was coming this month and then beyond. I think they had a little partnership going there. We spoke about Devil May Cry 5 before, that they're leaning into the Xbox platform, at least as far as marketing is concerned, which I'd still think smart, because you get to speak there, like your hardened Xbox fan, maybe your one-eyed Xbox fan, is sitting back going, oh, cool, like Capcom's trying to team up with us. It's all about us. Like, it's all about us. But then Capcom knows that PlayStation fans are going to go get Devil May Cry on PlayStation. So that they kind of get to speak to Xbox and really kind of make them feel special. And I'm trying not to sound condescending here. Makes them feel special, but they know that PlayStation's going to get them the sales. The majority, the bulk of the money is going to come from PlayStation still, and that's fine. But you get to look after all parties. Everyone feels good, and everyone gets a good game out of it. So it's kind of clever marketing, I think, in that way.
Yeah. So like with a lot of big games tying themselves to PlayStation, like your Red Dead's, like Destiny, and sort of stuff. Xbox had to pick up the slack somewhere, and like their Fallout's having a huge presence with them. So Bethesda working with them, and then you've got obviously Just Cause and sort of stuff. So rather than get into the specifics of what they have, because obviously it's being mostly Xbox focused, how did you feel about it, comparing it to, say, PlayStation with PSX in the past?
There wasn't any of those big maybe those new studio acquisitions, but otherwise there was none of those big groundbreaking sort of things. Everything we knew about in some way, shape or form, we'd already seen the games. It was actually the best PSXs. We've had some weaker ones, and I'm not even talking about last year's one on the couches and all that sort of thing. We've had PSXs over the journey where it's like, hey, you saw Spider-Man at E3 and you're going to get to see it again now, and we'll show you a tiny little bit more. And they've been criticised for that, and it felt like one of those PSXs where it was good. I was happy, they showed some cool things, but it was more of what I already knew. There wasn't that shock and awe which you're kind of looking for in those sort of conferences, especially when you're trying to gather thousands of your fans together. And can we stop doing that? Don't get screaming fans behind you. Make it Shinji Hashimoto from Square Enix actually told him to shut up. Well, he didn't use the word shut up, but he told him, we need you to shush, because I don't know. He was getting a translator there, so he needed
compared to Japanese, every time you watch a Nintendo brief, or when they did the live Switch, it's like Not even claps. Everyone's like, yes. Where here it's like, woo, woo.
Well, I understood
You know
in his
what I mean?
case though, because he's got a translator there, and then he's trying to speak live, so he's trying to hear what she's reading back to him, so he can then respond, and like that's a messy sort of situation. But God, they were annoying, and they were just. It was clear someone's like the little teleprompter there going, shout, scream, jump, make noise, applause. Yeah. Just can we stop? Let them be genuinely excited by things, because there were things to be genuinely excited about. Let them just show it, be authentic about it. But yeah, it wasn't kind of that PSX caliber. Certainly better than the couches last year. But did they announce Medieval? Overall, pretty happy with it still.
Yeah, it's like I came out from a different place because I was like, I don't really play my Xbox all that much, and even us as a channel, we don't focus on Xbox. Like we share the news and stuff when it happens, but you know, you're approaching it from player 2.
Well, I'm still super biased towards PlayStation though. Like I favor them heavily, and Matt cracks the shits with me because he's got his. He gets codes for Xbox games for review and those sorts of things, and maybe it's a shared world sort of game. And hey, Paul, like let's jump in and do this. I'm like, mate, I'm playing on PlayStation. It's like because I want my trophies or whatever. Well, like I'm invested in that in that environment. Like
as I mentioned, like when Mikey from 2K sent us WWE, he's like, hey, here's an Xbox. I'm like, thanks, man. And I really enjoyed it. I'm like, oh, I'm not playing it here anymore. I'm gonna go buy it. So I went and bought it. Like it's like it had to be on PlayStation. But the reason I mention that is. For any of the announcements and stuff aren't important to us.
Yep.
Any of the Xbox exclusive stuff aren't important to us. So, like, you know, take whatever we say with a grain of salt then, I suppose. But I enjoyed the hype. I enjoyed the excitement. As I'm watching it while I was pulling some of the news and stuff together this morning, I'm like, fuck. I'm feeling it. I'm like, why didn't PlayStation do this?
Yeah.
Like, granted, you know, these guys, as you mentioned, they're repeating the same old news, like news that we don't really. They're repeating
same old games, new stuff, but same old games. New news,
old games. And I do certainly understand why PlayStation hasn't this year, and why PSX has been. It wouldn't have been enough. It would be literally have been this, if not less than this.
With everything they did for your Ghost of Tsushimas and Last of Us and all those sorts of things at E3. They wouldn't have much they could have then done at PSX, and they would have looked at last year's feedback where it was on the couch and having the conversation that people weren't a big fan of that. Going, well, we don't want to do that again, but we've got nothing else we can show from us. I still think both sides are maybe dropping the ball a little bit by not focusing on the indies like they are, and that's where I guess you spoke about last week. The Kind of Funny Games showcase is going to be great for that. Is that it looks like
Xbox did talk about a lot of indies though. Because they didn't have much else.
A few. I think it seemed like I really thought they were going to cover
a lot of those Game Pass games were indies. Yeah.
Which was good. They touched on briefly, and there was a few I'm like, oh shit, that looks cool. On top of Ori and all those sort of things, and they spoke briefly about Tunic, but yeah, they had a big opportunity to go, hey, here's some amazing games for Summer of Arcade, which are always known to be indie ones, but then, sorry, we're showing you that at the Game Awards, and like, that was a missed opportunity. I don't know, yeah. I'm mixed about the whole thing. Like, there's some good things there. There's some things that I sit back and go, like what you said, I wish PlayStation went there and did this.
Because I missed that fever. I missed that. Like, I used to be so fucking stoked for PSX, and I still am. Like, if they would still bring one out, I would still be just as excited. Even last year with the couches, I was like, oh, it's a bit of a bummer, but I was still fucking stoked on it.
Well, like I was there with you. We were hanging on what Corey had to say about God of War, or what came out next about The Last of Us, or those sorts of things. Like, it was still, and Medieval, like, shit, hang on, they're announcing Medieval. This is awesome. Like, there was still some cool things there along the way, and I want that whenever possible. Nintendo actually harnesses that really well with the way they do their directs.
Directs are smart,
and it's all canned, so you don't get that noise in the background and all that sort of thing. But at the same time, it's cool. Like, we get every month and a half, maybe 2 months. Here's just a blast of all these awesome new things. Some of them new games, some are updates. You get a bit of best of both worlds. All parties are chasing what Nintendo's doing in that regard. And I never thought I'd say something Nintendo does online they do better than anyone else, but they do it the best. Yeah,
they do really good updates and stuff. But yeah,
there's some that you can obviously shrug your shoulders at, but by and large, they deliver a good show every single time. They do it regularly.
The big sort of question coming out of XO18 for us as PlayStation people is, does PlayStation have anything to worry about? I say yes in terms of optics, right? From what it looks at right now, even in the short burst, they cancelled their PSX Xbox have come in and filled that void. There's a lot of concern about PlayStation not being as community focused as they once were since they've become popular. Even though I fucking hate the expression everyone talks about here, that old PS3 hubris.
Oh yeah.
Fuck down. It makes me so mad when I hear that. Because like that's just echoing what bigger
outlets are saying.
Bigger outlets are saying. It's like you as a fucking person have no idea, including myself. So, you know, what I mean, like Xbox have been forced to take more of a PR angle. They may not have the games to fill it.
They have to win hearts. They're trying to claw themselves back into the game. So. And
I think they've done that with this. Even though I don't give a fuck really about a lot of what they talked about, even the third parties like their Tomb Raider, I played it. I've taken it back. I don't want to play it again. Like it was great, but there's no DLCs or anything. You know, and then like Kingdom Hearts, woo, Devil May Cry. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing they talked about really won me over, but the overall conference made me go, fuck.
There's only one thing missing for me, and that was a release date for Ori. I keep cycling back to that game because it's one of my favorite games of the generation. But yeah, as a PlayStation fan, even your optics thing about the studios and those sort of things. If Obsidian's big, and it's a big miss for PlayStation. If In Exile had been another really well-regarded studio, like with a really high profile, then as a PlayStation fan, I might be kind of quaking my boots a little bit. Obsidian's great, but like some of their talent left and actually went to Guerrilla to do Horizon. Like we're getting some of those people over there, and they're helping PlayStation create big RPGs as well. So we're kind of getting, we're not losing too much, I guess, in some ways by missing out on Obsidian. As someone myself personally has both consoles, if there's a big Obsidian game I want to play, I'll still go fire up my Xbox and do it if I want. But yeah, there's a ways to go still for Xbox if they want to claw back that ground. I think they've got the right pieces in place, and look, maybe those games are just right, and you know that Microsoft dollar might allow them to just do what they might not have been able to do before, and that's really important. Obsidian's always had to go game by game and just make sure they got enough money to then move on to the next thing, and they're always working in some third party's hip pocket. So this will be good for them to just have that financial security to do what they want. But yeah, I don't think there's anything yet as a PlayStation fan where I'm going, oh shit.
Yeah.
Outside of the possibility that maybe Xbox really front-loaded with their launch window and we just don't know yet what's going to happen, because we don't know what's going to happen with Ghosts or Death Stranding. So.
Yeah. It's an odd place. What do you think? Did you watch the Xbox 018? What do you think? Do you think PlayStation should be worried? Comment below. Let us know your thoughts. Speaking of comments, though, we bring it to the section from the players. Where we got some questions from one individual in particular. He loaded us with a couple of questions.
Oh, good.
So I just jumped on him. I was like, all right, cool. You've given us all. We'll go with you.
Like Cassandra on that guy, you jumped all over.
That's right. So Lee Vivian gives us two. One of them not entirely PlayStation focused, more just what our thoughts are on something, which is cool. So his first question is, what's your thoughts about all the backlash of Blizzard's whole Diablo Immortal stuff? And also how Blizzard have also said that they are looking into more of the mobile games market for new games.
Fuck off, entitled fans.
Yeah, I'm the same, bro. Fuck off, man. Like, I understand.
They didn't deliver it well. The messaging was poor.
Messaging was poor, but at the same point, fuck off. It's like... They're Blizzard. They're a company. They can do whatever they want. Like, even me as a consumer of PlayStation products, I have no shape or I have no way of dictating what they do, and nor should I expect that I should. So I understand why they've gone to a mobile market, because big numbers, and if their concern is the Diablo is then going to become microtransactioned, fuck off. But they've already done it with Diablo 3 apparently.
Yeah,
I don't play it, but apparently it's already there. So it's not as if it's going to change. I can
literally see a copy just sitting off camera, but...
Yeah, I haven't played it yet. That's my wife's copy. She's a big fan.
Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, really? Nice.
She's a huge fan. So the only concern that it could be is that, oh no, more people are going to play it and then want to buy Diablo.
Yeah, what's the problem there?
Diablo 4 is still on the way. Like, people...
Yeah, that's the thing. They actually got out in front and said, we're working on the next core Diablo game. You won't see it at this event. So firstly, I don't know why when Diablo first appeared on the screen, people go, oh, like, I mean, I suppose they could have gone all Jaffe and lied to you and then rolled out on the truck anyway.
People don't fucking understand that a company has multiple teams. Like, just because Blizzard aren't solely working on Diablo Immortal. Like Diablo 4. Like,
well, they shipped it off to a Chinese. That's one of the things.
If anything, that should be more of a positive. They're like, you ship this off. Cool. That means you're working on Diablo 4 for me.
Yeah.
People are dumb.
You'd think in that regard it's okay. I guess they still want, like, even if a game comes to Apple or iOS, mobile. Sorry, I'm an Apple person. I got too one-eyed there. They want it to be the best product possible, and I know that company out of China doesn't have a great rep, which has been another thing. But people didn't, like that douchebag that got up there and said this is some out-of-season April Fool's joke. He didn't know which team was responsible for it. He's just been a dick. And I know, like, a lot of hate gets directed his way, and deservedly so. He's a dick. But just cool your jets a little bit, guys.
Yeah, fuck the fuck off is all I'm saying.
Besides, I looked at that, and as someone who messed around with Diablo a little bit, it's been a while since I went last played Diablo 3, but I look at it and go, I could get around this.
Yeah.
Like, if it's bite size and visually it looked like Diablo 3, I'm like, okay, so the game's looking sharp. And if I can just do it in little bite-sized chunks, I'm sitting at my desk at work when I should be teaching, and I can
kids doing tests and shit, like yeah whatever.
Then fine. Actually, I tested the other day and I started preparing the next episode of Gamer School. But anyway,
school related.
I was on topic. But like that's great. It's accessibility, and then it just tides you over until Diablo 4 comes out. Because if you believe Schreier, he's like they've gone through two different teams, like two different iterations of that game. So they're struggling to find out what Diablo 4 is, and you get to play something in the meantime. And Blizzard, despite the fact that the game's being developed elsewhere, Blizzard has pretty high expectations. They don't. When's the last time they put out a flop?
True. Very
like
true.
Even if it's not necessary for us, like I can't think of the last flop they put out there. They will be testing the shit out of that thing, and if this team's not quite got it right, take it back. Go keep working on it. Do what needs to be done. Again, as evidenced by the fact that they've gone through 2 iterations of Diablo 4 already.
One of the other comments that I've heard is they're like, well, it wasn't the best place to talk about it.
No, it wasn't.
I'm like, get the fuck out. It's an Activision product. Sorry, it's a Blizzard product at BlizzCon. There is no other better place for them to talk about it.
No, the timing within the conference.
Fuck them.
Bring that elsewhere within the conference, somewhere in the middle. Finish with what they did with Warcraft. That's all they needed to do.
Yeah, so just jerk their dicks about a remake instead. Fuck them.
Yeah, but like,
fuck
for your
all
fans,
of them.
I still think it's wrong, but the way they delivered it was probably the only poor bit of the whole thing.
PC dorks anyway.
Well, they are.
Like, did they even have
time?
time?
Take your keyboard and mouse.
Did they even have
Xbox
time
is allowing you to play with keyboard and mouse anyway, so come join us.
Did they even have time to stop looking at their Excel spreadsheets to even go to BlizzCon? Like, come on.
Updating their drivers and
That's
stuff.
it. I love those same repeated jokes at their expense. And also, Lee's also asked, what are your thoughts about Square Enix's main dev behind Final Fantasy 15 leaving the company and then completely cancelling 3 of the 4 DLCs for the game, leaving Season Pass owners angry? And then also Square Enix is talking about making some sort of subscription service platform for all these games. From what I've heard, this is mainly to do with the re-released Final Fantasy games coming out.
Mismanagement. That's all it is. And Tabata was a great guy, and he came along and he saved Final Fantasy 15 because it was in a lot of trouble there. It was Nomura, who's the I guess he's now working on Kingdom Hearts, and no surprise that that's taken 15 years. Like he just kept wasting time, and things get thrown out, and you get 99% of the way through a particular portion. And he goes, "Oh, hang on, I want to add this," and the whole thing got recycled again. Tabata came in and just developed a structure. People followed it. And they delivered what was a pretty solid product, and one that got better post-release as well. The DLC was solid, not fantastic, but they promised a thing. There was a season pass for it, and now they've not delivered. So I guess in the same way that people were kind of kicking up a bit of a stink about Telltale until the news kind of came out, and I think I was one of them for a while there, about, hey, I want my money back because you've delivered a product you've promised a product that you're not going to deliver. I think in this case, people have actually got some grounds. Like, we've got more information about this than what we did about Telltale. At the same time, so maybe they should get their pitchforks out and start demanding their money back.
I'd say so
for the DLC, for the season pass anyway.
3 out of 4 uncompleted items is a bit different to Telltale doing.
Well, even then they did 2 out of. Oh, 4. It was meant to be 4. Sorry, yeah, 2 out of 4.
So they've delivered half. These guys delivered less than a quarter of what they promised. So
I mean,
I think for that reason, and Square Enix is a massive company, and you should be able to get your money back. Fight for it. Like, no one's getting bankrupt here. One person just left. I don't care about Final Fantasy 15 personally. I never played it. Final Fantasy, as I bitched and whined about before about Kingdom Hearts, I don't give a fuck. It's not.
I love it, but weebs.
It's not for me. It doesn't excite me. So when they announce that this person's leaving, I'm like, okay. Oh, buddy.
Oh, here we go.
My boy's outside. You can hear him talking at the door.
We discussed this. We couldn't go an episode without him rocking up. So, look, this is also at the same time that someone came out. It was someone that was working on Dragon Quest 11. They came out and they spoke about essentially the whole crunch thing and the fact that they really had no concept of the whole. And look, culturally things are very different, but it was almost like the whole workers' rights thing and the fact no, we'll flog them. What like? It just means we put out a worse product if we don't. Like, yes, but there's other ways that you can still get the high quality product without keeping people locked in their offices for, let's use the Red Dead thing, 100-hour weeks or whatever the scenario might actually be. Square Enix is still pretty tone deaf in some ways, and there is that Japanese aspect which we as non-Japanese folk might struggle to understand a little bit, and they do have a different approach to the way they do their work, and there's a lot of big cultural differences there, but they could be handling it better.
They could.
I think that's all it boils down to, and it's the same with the Diablo thing. Just you could have handled better.
Yeah, it's a real big bummer that there's a big hunk of that game not coming to people.
Yeah.
However, in this section called coming to the players,
there's lots of things you can
where we
play.
tell you about games that are coming out this week. And as always, we are straight up just reading the drop from the PlayStation blog, and this is for US games, so not all of these may make it on the day they say.
If at all.
Kicking
this
things
is one
off
that will, though.
Is Chim Party. It's a PlayLink title, it's PS4 and it's digital. I kind of like the PlayLink games.
Yeah, I don't mind some PlayLink. I don't know much about Chim Party though.
Yeah, me either.
But I heard it's meant to be okay.
Previously, PlayStation were nice enough to send us all the PlayLink games, so they haven't done that yet, or nor have I asked. So
it might have been forgotten.
It might have been forgotten, which is fine, because I'm not in no rush to jump on it.
Yeah, because you're busy playing Red Dead.
Busy playing Red Dead.
Something like that comes out and it just stops you from playing Red Dead because you're like, I need to do some coverage of this game, and I don't want
to do that because I want
to play Red Dead.
Emerald Shores PS4 digital. Fallout 76.
Never heard of it.
Never, no idea. PS4 digital and retail out the 14th. Bethesda Game Studios welcome you to Fallout 76, the online prequel where every surviving human is a real person. Work together or not to survive under the threat of nuclear annihilation. Experience the largest world ever created in Fallout. Gnome's Garden, new home, PS4 digital. Fuck, find out what that is. Hitman 2, PS4 digital and retail.
I think if you're a gold, like you've pre-ordered the gold version, I think it's already available.
I believe so too. Travel the globe and track your targets across exotic sandbox locations in Hitman 2. From sun-drenched streets to dark and dangerous rainforests, nowhere is safe from the world's most creative assassin, Agent 47 in the ultimate spy thriller story.
And also, I think if you pick up the gold edition just on top of the early access, I think you also get the entirety of the original, or not the original, but Hitman 1 that came out this gen as well.
Fantastic.
Like it's just, boom, in there straight away.
Just Deal With It, PS4 digital, another PlayLink game. Just Deal With It on PS4 with PlayLink delivers a whole new twist on the 5 classic card games, locally or online. Team up with your friends, families, launch tax, sabotage and competition, then go all in for the win in this joyous card game party. Knowledge is Power Decades, PS4 digital. So it's pretty much Knowledge is Power, but with decades. I like.
And there are decades. There were lots of decades over time.
Over time, there have been many decades, so there is a lot.
And there will be many more.
There is a lot of information to go
So the DLC can go forever.
That's true. The Long Journey Home.
Tell me
PS4
about what happened in
digital
1690.
Yeah. And the worst part is it's quiz. We have to be like,
also note the 69 in there.
Fucking the plague, or
yeah,
some people dying in their mid-30s. The Long Journey Home. Mars, Chaos Menace, PS4 digital, out on the 16th. Monkey King, Master of the Clouds, PS4 digital, out on the 15th. My Riding Stables, PS4 digital retail. I believe this has been on the list before, so what the fuck happened there? Project High Rise, PS4 digital and retail. The Quiet Man, PS4 digital, out on the 16th.
It's already available.
I'm positive that game's already out.
It's already available. Yeah, I've already got it. Well, sorry, I don't already have it, but I've seen it.
Yeah,
there.
but why is it on the 16th? That's weird. I'm positive it's out. The Runner 3 on PS4's digitals. Slay Away Camp, Butcher's Cut, PS4 Vita, digital out on the 15th.
Where is it? Where is it? There it is!
Spyro, the Reignited Trilogy, PS4 digital and retail.
Played it at PAX and it felt like a treat. I watched some pleb in front of me pick it up and have no clue what they're doing.
It did play better
got
than
the controller
PS4.
and I'm like, this is exactly how I remember it feeling. I like the weighting of everything, the way he moves. It's just
See, to me, PS1 Spyro controlled like ass. This one controlled a lot better. Same basic systems, but it feels better. The original Roast Master is back. Same sick burn, same smouldering attitude, now all scaled up in stunning HD. Rekindle the fire with the original 3 games, not on disc: Spyro the Dragon, Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage, and Spyro Year of the Dragon.
There's a lot of dragon puns in there, and yes, even in spite of the delay, we're still having to download a shit ton of this game, which is the one blemish on the entire product. Because otherwise, like the horse game that we spoke about a while ago, Game of the Year contender.
Yeah, shooty horse. Swords 2, Soldiers 2, Schwarmageddon, PS4 Digital. Ticket to Ride, PS4 Digital, out on the 15th. I believe there might be a PlayLink one as well. Word Hunters, PS4 Digital. Easily the pickups there are Fallout 76 and Spyro the Dragoon. Other than that, it's pretty fucking...
Hitman, for you, if that's your thing too.
Other than that, yeah.
I mean, we recently sat on a podcast with someone who doesn't like stealth games, but then played a shit ton of them at PAX, if you recall.
That is true.
Sean Nichols have played it.
PlayLink games I'll likely check out, if they come my way, of course. Because like,
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Hey, PlayStation, how you doing, man?
But don't request it, because then you don't have to cover it. You can
they might just come our way, which is cool. Other than that, Spyro and Fallout are the big ones for me. They're the ones that I'm checking out personally.
You're checking out Spyro?
I'm like, hey,
yes,
man, you looking hot.
He's in. It's gonna be a good week. I need to finish Assassins real quick, and oh Jesus, Spyro's gonna stop me from playing Red Dead.
Yeah.
Would you have ever imagined that? Like, someone made
Spyro
a conscious
is
decision to not play Red Dead Redemption 2 because they wanted to play a PS1 game, Spyro.
Yeah, but because was Spyro a huge game, like lengthwise, time-wise?
I mean, they're typical play, like similar to Crash, I guess. So probably 8 to 10.
You could rip through that. It's nothing.
Times 3.
Red Dead won't go anywhere. It's 60 hours of game just waiting for you.
We'll see. It's going to be tough. Maybe I'll just take a day off work, play the dragon.
Let us know what you're picking up in those comments below. Do you think that Spyro is the butt? Because I certainly do. But that brings us to the end of the show. And before I do that spiel, we'll let you do yourselves.
I'll do myself.
Do yourselves.
Sell yourself,
Paul James.
That's right. Oh, well, I did to that guy in
Assassin's Creed. You did in Assassin's Creed.
And he loved it.
Hot.
Twitter, Paul James Games. I changed it, Paul James Games, because it's just got a nice little ring to it.
Yeah, it does sound good.
So that will give you links to all the stuff written and video that I do for Player 2, and I've also recently kicked off a podcast series. It's fortnightly, because it'd be a little bit hard, I reckon, to get one every week, called Dev Diary, where I sit down with game developers from all around the industry and kind of get their stories about how they kind of came to be where they're currently at. So the first episode is with Matt Firel from ZeniMax Online, so they're responsible for Elder Scrolls Online, and I've got some other interviews with Tim Willits, who works for id, does Rage, Doom, etc. And then a really, really long one with I've gone blank. He does CEO of Big Ant. Why am I having a brain fart? Either way, Big Ant are responsible for, the name will come to me at some random moment. I'll just shout it out into the ether. They're responsible.
Just says his name in capital letters.
They're responsible for like the cricket games and AO Tennis that came out earlier this year, and that in itself was a really interesting conversation, because AO Tennis was a bit of a mess at launch, and I had a lot of questions about that as someone who reviewed it and ripped it apart at the beginning, to now where it now was. So there's some good stories there. Some of them are longer, some of them are shorter, some of them go for an hour and 20 minutes. So
very nice.
They're fortnightly. You can find it at, I think, basically all the same podcast feeds that this is on. So go and check them out.
Yeah, all those places. Beautiful.
I'm going to check out that name and just scream it out.
And that conversation took place at 9 a.m. on the YouTubes and 8 a.m. on the podcast services, including Spotify, which is awesome.
That's where you now are, yeah.
We are now on this.
Hey, Ross Simmons, that's the name. Ross Simmons. Sorry, Ross, I'm fucking tool.
So hey, if you're listening to us on Spotify, hey man, welcome. Hope you like what you think. If you want to join the conversation, head over to the Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/thepopculturists. Are always there talking shit about something. Previously I was just bitching about the potential Breaking Bad movie, which I was like, oh, that's dumb. I'm going to go tell you, I'm going to see the shit out of that. And if you want to support the show, you can head over to patreon.com/thepopculturist, where you might find a tier that interests you. And no matter what tier you are on, you can watch us record this show live. It's very, very exciting for those that do.
Patrons are helping to replace this table one day.
One day. It's stockpiling in like a PayPal account, like, because this is just rickety as balls, so I need to build a new one. If you want to show the love of Pop Culturist on your body, it's popculturist.com/shop, where you can buy shirts like, not this one, but like this, because, you know, copyright claims.
That's why it's not available,
yeah,
right?
It's two of a kind. It got DMCA'd, so it's fair. But you can buy like phone cases and all this other stuff.
You still got one first.
Well, I ordered it before it got takedown, so then I emailed them, and like, 'cause my order was just sitting in pending. I'm like, hey, I paid for this. Either give me a refund or don't. Like, what the fuck you gonna do? And next thing you know, I had no response. Then I got the tracking info going. New shirts on its way.
Yeah, okay.
I'm like, cool.
Slimy pricks.
I'm like, hey, no, I ordered it. I guess it was printed before the
Yeah.
the DMCA. So the DMCA is totally valid. I'm not arguing the validness of the
But you got your shirt and you're happy.
But I got my shirt, and that's what I'm happy with. Because like, majority of the merch is
totally unique.
Yeah, majority of the merch is bought by me anyway. So it's mostly sort of a good place for me to buy shirts. And we are on Twitch at twitch.tv/popculturist, where we play stream games and that sort of stuff. I don't know what we're streaming this week. Might be Spyro.
More Paw Patrol. Just because. You can get on a roll.
On a roll with Paw Patrol. But until next week, I'm Ryan Betson.
And I'm Paul James.
And that was For the Players.